I'm not saying Cody isn't a draw. Cody is the bigger draw right now, but okay. I don't know what my point is anymore. I'm just coming at you for no reason, I think. Again, guys, pain medicine. I've lost my plot again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to
141 and 2/3%.
the wrestling podcast featuring two lapsed wrestling fans that could stop watching wrestling at any moment. I am your host, Will.
And I'm Tyler, and I'm not doing the intro because I had tooth surgery today.
So essentially, like The Rock, I am hijacking this podcast, and I will just take it wherever the fuck I want to go. I was just doing a podcast about True Detective like 20 minutes ago, and you know what? I might just end up talking about that for the next like 2.5 hours. We'll see.
But yes, it's going to be an interesting experience. You'll tell immediately, listeners. I don't sound terrible. I heard myself. I do sound a little off because I know what I sound like, but I heard a recording of myself. I don't sound too bad, but the freezing is running out as we speak, so I will talk better. And the pain will increase exponentially as we get closer to the end of this podcast.
Which means the comedy is just going to start soaring here soon. It's going to be great stuff. So, and this is a hilarious episode for you to go and have surgery and be in pain for, because there is so much to talk about in the last 5 days.
I will say
of WWE.
There's an insane amount to talk about, but Raw kind of sucked.
Raw was okay. It was okay. I thought we'll get into it. First, we gotta start from the beginning here.
Oh yeah.
So
one other
left
thing.
off last week.
I can't help it, listeners. I have to like swallow in weird ways and do other things. So you're gonna hear probably a few weird gulps. Just sorry, but I'm not going to go back and cut all that shit out. Go ahead, Will.
Quality. That's what we're here for.
It's going to be a lot.
All right, let's dial the clocks back here. Let's go all the way to Thursday night last week when WWE kicked off the road to WrestleMania with the press conference that has been heard around the world and has not even divided fans, but it has reinvigorated everything that we were complaining about literally the episode before. It has changed. It's changed everything for me. I went from so sad, so cry.
Wow.
To I think Tyler and I that Thursday night after the press conference, we ended up talking, like texting each other for like 3 hours, three hours or so. And it was obscene how much detail we went into.
It really left me wanting more. More than anything I'll say is that I haven't felt that way in a long time, where like I just wanted to watch more. I was like, okay, I guess I'll go watch NXT. Like I needed more content when that was over.
And you're just like sitting there. Like, I know from the next day, I was just on Twitter the entire time, just trying to consume everything that would come out about it, because we were all just so up in the air of what was going on. It left on such a great cliffhanger. So let's start kind of from beginning. I'm going to yada some of this stuff because Tyler's in pain and I'm not that great of a host. I'm more used to shorter episodes, so we'll see how this goes. We kick off the road to WrestleMania's press conference with Bianca Belair. She shows up, and immediately I stop listening. Not that I don't like Bianca Belair, but we all know what's going on right now. There is something hanging over us. It's the "We Want Cody" movement, and even the crowd, you can kind of tell they're just kind of like dealing with it. You know, Bianca, she comes out, she starts talking her new show, Bianca in Love.
Sorry. You're saying this, and as you're listing points, I have Do Not Disturb for some arbitrary reason not on my laptop right now, and it's dinging in your cadence, and I thought you were just pressing like a button going like ding. That's right. I did it. Ding. How great is that? Ding. And it's just you like it's. I gotta turn this on. It's so good. Anyway, sorry.
If I could figure out how to make a soundboard for myself for podcasting, so I can start just being absolutely horrendous as a host, I would do that. But I don't know how. It's way too complicated for me.
I definitely could, but it would require money and time.
And who has that? So yeah, we kick off here with Bianca Belair. Like I said, she talks about her show a little bit, and I think she just razzes, the air a bit. She has no storyline at the moment, which leads me to say here, Bayley got robbed. She should have been a part of this. Maybe it was just problems with logistics. Maybe she was in the wrong city. Just couldn't make it work. There was a number of people that weren't there. But for Bianca to be there, I know she's like one of the top faces and one of the most popular people on the roster. It doesn't matter.
She shouldn't be on
that
it. I mean, here's the thing.
She shouldn't be on it. She doesn't have a match.
If this thing is twice as long, she should be on it. But it's not. And it's not. Bayley was, I don't know if she was playing it up on the internet, if she was a little bit pissed and making it worse, but like if she's not happy about her treatment lately, like, and I don't know if it's work, because it could just be a work. They could be putting it over on us, but she's not getting any of the promotional material for Mania or Rumble where she won, or the she was like the only contestant on the poster who wasn't on the I can't remember what it was, but yeah,
she's not mentioned anywhere. She's not mentioned in the post conference at all. The only time her name was dropped at all by anybody within the WWE was after the press conference. CM Punk posted a video where he was like, "We can't forget about Bayley.
Justice for Bayley," yeah.
Which is like cool. Yeah, like I was like, cool, yeah, but you also forgot about it. That being said, like what happens later on in the press conference, like kind of stole the show. But
I think
Bayley should have been in there.
I think
it's a bit of a work.
Or at least Bayley's just leaning into something, and they're like, oh, and they saw her leaning into it, and they're like, hey, look, can we not put you on the poster, and then you get into it, right? It does make me think
absolutely
Bianca's going to be fighting Rhea for the championship, even though they're really setting up Becky. I guess Becky came out too, right? I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, that was immediately after Bianca kind of said thank you, said watch Bianca in Love. I don't even know is that the show, is it WWE in Love in WWE?
Yeah, whatever. Love in WWE.
Yeah, Bianca's Montez. Boy
and
yeah,
not Montez. Right? No, what's his? Yeah, Montez. Melo's the guy who doesn't miss. Montez is the guy in the Street Profits. Yeah,
Montez is in Street Profits.
So
she disappears.
I think we're heading for a Becky Bianca triple threat match for the championship. That's what I'm thinking now. Now that I've remembered that.
Sure.
I just don't see them putting her on there. Even it's the reality TV show. Obviously, is the kicker. They want to advertise that she was the first out there. She didn't really call anybody out.
Nope. She promoted the show, and I'm sorry I'm not watching the show. Don't hate you. I don't hate you, Bianca. Let me make this be clear. And I just kind of want to say on this note, I feel like I've been really razzing on the women's division a lot lately because I tend to tune out during the women's matches. That doesn't represent me. It
absolutely represents me. Here's the thing is like, Becky, Charlotte, Bianca, Liv Morgan to a very small extent, but not quite there yet. There's a lot of people at the top of the card that I really respect as workers, and I think they look great. But there's a lot of subpar wrestling in the women's division. And if that is a case of them being women and that's the reason, I don't really necessarily think that's the reason. I think it's a talent pool thing. I think
it's a talent pool thing.
More men want to get into wrestling than women. And also it requires athleticism, which I'm not saying like by default. Like look at Becky. Becky looks absolutely believable as a destroyer, and she doesn't look like Bianca or Jade or Nia or Rhea. She is like a normal looking human being who has no real like massive muscles or defining features that make her somewhat of a sideshow. It's just the quality of work is not there to have the amount of women's wrestling they have on TV. And so much of it is tag teams to get as many women on the screen as possible at one time. And a lot of it is just pasted together teams who don't really have a history. They don't let them build a history. And then it's like tournament, or, you know, qualifier to fight for the tag team belts. But the middle, there is no mid-card championship. And
no,
I think that's a problem.
Kind of hurting them.
I think, you know,
for sure,
that you need to have them get rid of the tags maybe and put a mid-card belt in there and then just have all the tags you want. Just don't have a champion. Or have one. I don't know. I'm just saying there's probably a need for a mid-card title. Like, what's Mi Chin's future?
Yeah. I don't know. And they seem to be pushing her a little bit more lately, but we'll see. I mean, I watch NXT. I watched a couple episodes in NXT, and I find their women's division actually really good, like really quite good. Maybe it's because the way that Sean's booking or whatever. I just find that talent pool to be a little bit more my speed, but that's just my opinion. But I'm with you 100% on everything you just said. There's just a lot of people at the top, but there's not a lot of maneuverability. Not having a mid-card championship, some sort of women's intercontinental, something like that, definitely hurts the division, and that could definitely help. And yeah, and seeing just tag teams just put together because they are two women that can wrestle doesn't help anybody unless you're two people who love to dance.
If you love to dance, I'm here for it. Only if you tell me that you're here to dance. And I don't mean that in a misogynistic way. I just mean, like, I just want to hear those words. It's like when I see Valhalla, I want Cole to talk about the horns. When I see the dancing girls, when I see Carter and Chan, I don't want to belittle them, guys. I respect both of them as competitors. I respect both of them as competitors to an extent, and I respect them both as people. I am, as a comic podcast, they're the dancing girls. There's my disclaimer.
There you go.
I just, it's... There's just a lot of, like, I would just so much, like, if you watch NXT, there are 5 dudes who are ready to make the jump at minimum. And at any given time. And I would just rather see them than the bottom card women or the tag mashup women. But I understand, like, I get it. And I think what the best thing to probably do would be to combine it to one's women's division, which they already kind of have in a way. But, you know, just exclusively one women's division with a title, a mid-card title, and a tag team title, and they wrestle on Mondays and Thursdays, and then just try to schedule it in such a fashion that you're not overworking them and that it still makes sense. Because you obviously don't want someone grinding out that old tour schedule, but that's all I'm saying.
All right.
Okay, we've spent too much time on that. I gotta go. I'm gonna be in so much pain.
You're already okay. Bianca goes away. Out comes Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley talks up a big game. I think she does say mommy's on top line. Then cue the music. Becky Lynch comes out. She faces off against Rhea Ripley on stage. Even dropping I think it's like how it would, with me, you will finally see how it feels to be a bottom.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, a little spicy.
You know, they've been sitting on that line for 6 months.
For a while. Yeah, for a while now. I mean, they got Randy Orton with the Daddy's Back line. So they were waiting for their next, like, play on the Mommy's on Top.
Daddy's back, doody boop, bop, bee doo doo. Oh, yeah. Steve's here. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Boop, bee da, beep, boop, beep, boo doo. Pain meds, guys.
And those are these are the two, like, kickoff bits here. And overall, like, Bianca's promo was just annoying to me because it wasn't anything. Becky and Rhea, like you said, they've been trying to build this up for a little bit. I don't know how much is actually there. I was actually expecting Nia Jax to show up and do something,
but she didn't. Thank God.
Never.
Instead, she appeared as
nothing happened.
Completely independent root of a tree later on. Let's keep going. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Becky Rhea are going to fight.
Let's just get into
Maybe
what
Bianca
matters here.
will eventually. What was next? Was Rollins out next? Was it that quick?
Rollins is out next. Because they knew, like, they had like some preamble with Michael Cole and Pat McCaffrey and CM Punk on the announce desk as well. Did some conversations with them that filled out like 15-20 minutes. Then they started the show. And then about like near the 15-minute mark, 45-minute mark, 15 minutes left in the show, Rollins comes out. And Rollins, comes out. His usual crowd thing. He plays up to.
Oh, whoa. Ooh, woo.
And I can't fault him for just kind of like getting into the business here. He tries to call out Cody Rhodes to tell him, to ask him what he decides.
Which,
of course, Roman Reigns comes out.
You heard that, right, Will? You heard that? You heard what you just said, what you remembered?
No.
Have you made your decision? They're still playing it like Cody's going to fucking go with Rollins.
Yeah.
It's not a work. It's a fucking pivot so hard, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. Sorry, continue.
It's a pivot. Or no, it's a work. I think it's a work.
That, like, how far do you think it's a work? Okay, let's finish it up. Let's finish it up. Quick hits here.
Look. The point is, Roman Reigns comes out. He starts dissing Seth Rollins. Then The Rock comes out, gives us a PowerPoint presentation about the family tree. And this is where I kind of want to just talk about the crowd here. Because we're all confused. What's going on is that we're really confused.
Yeah, well, we're like,
there's some people in the crowd cheering. There's people in the crowd that's clearly booing. The We Want Cody movement is out there. And I can't tell from The Rock's performance on stage at this press conference if he was actually taken aback or if this is probably his best performance of his entire fucking career. And that includes the rundown.
Absolutely. I'm so here for this because he was a prick before as a heel, but then he started becoming Hollywood and just had to be nice. And, you don't want to boo The Rock. He shows up once every 2-3 years. You don't want to boo him. And just to see him, like, with real vitriol in his eyes and swearing, and it was just so great. Like, you knew it was not...
It's so good.
You knew it was work because, like, you knew wrestling in general. Like, you knew it was not a shoot. You knew it wasn't a shoot because of just how everything went down with the last week or two of all this. You think it's a work, you're crazy. We all knew it's a pivot. So you had to escalate quickly.
I think it's a work.
But he did such a great job of escalating it so quickly. You saw it over a couple days. You saw the big response about how people were negative about it. WWE backtracking. You see The Rock posted a little thing on social media about just like, just calling Cody. Also leading into it, being like, you guys have no idea what you're going to miss. This is the best match ever. You guys are stupid. And then then making fun of Cody. Then going on Pat McAfee and calling everyone Cody's crybabies. They just so quickly,
which was great, which was great for merch.
Oh yeah, but that amp up is a span of like 3 days. They did such a good job of just like boom, 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 boom. Because like you can tell. I don't think you can tell, but you can tell. It's not glaringly obvious, but on Monday, they knew they were thinking about switching, and that's why it was such a bland Raw with the bull rope match. They just kind of like, we got to get Cody out there. Let's just have him fight Nakamura again in a bull rope match. That way he can get some cheers. We can acknowledge it a little bit, and we can get Drew to beat him up, and then give him some heat on that, and that'll distract him. Maybe we can get him into the main event picture, whatever. And then you could tell they switched, and then The Rock got the marching orders, and he was just like. Little crumb, Cody's crybabies, slapping Cody on stage. It was masterful.
I mean, here's my thought on it. Yeah, we all saw the press conference. I'm not going to go into it anymore. The question here between Tyler and I, and Tyler doesn't even think it's a question. Tyler 100% believes it's a pivot.
It is 100% a pivot.
I think there's a way to explain this as a work.
Here's the thing. There is a way.
There's a way. There's a through way. It's a narrow way through.
There is a very good way of making it a work, but the writing is not there to support it. There's just little things that make it clearly a pivot. Like you could say, yes, they were feeding the dirt sheets that, that shirts were in production in early January, and they knew before Rumble, and everyone's mad about that, and they feed a little bit more nuggets. Like The Rock wanted this match. Not only did he want it, he insisted upon it, and there are little nuggets like that. But from before they switch back, that makes sense. That this could just be them feeding this information to The Rock. And I think they were to some extent, to be fair, about The Rock to the dirt sheets. But the Rumble to press conference is either like terrible writing with the on-screen product, or a pivot. It's just undeniable.
In what way is the writing bad? Like, are you just talking about that one? That one.
Okay, so like
Raw
say this is what their plan all
just
along.
Kind of like in the air.
Say this is their plan all along, that they're gonna have The Rock like go against Roman, but for 2 episodes of television, for like 1 Smackdown and a Raw, or maybe 3. There's no reason to do it in the order that they did it.
Well, the succession was The Rock announces the match on Friday. Monday's the bull rope match. Thursday is the press conference.
Yeah, but I'm talking from like Rumble on, with under the assumption that they knew Rock was coming back for sure, and that they were going to do this angle with it. Is the writing there, like Cody coming out and saying, I want that belt. That's my daddy's belt. Absolutely shitting all over the Rollins belt. And both of them shitting all over the Rollins belt. And then saying, but not at WrestleMania. And then having The Rock take the match. And then anticipating the crowd reaction. Which honestly, if they did anticipate a more negative reaction, a bigger reaction for Cody than Rock, if this is a work, there's no way they saw it being that overwhelming. Like,
I think they did. I think they did.
But I'm not talking about Triple H. Was gonna be. I'm talking about the board. I just don't see you saying to the board, this is how we're going to introduce The Rock into wrestling again, potentially wrestling another match, and using that and then being like, great idea. Great idea. Turn everybody on The Rock immediately. That sounds great.
Unless The Rock is on board. Unless The Rock was on board and was like, let's turn everybody against me.
It's true. But I'm kind of arguing minutia here, but
The other side, the other thing that's like, the other piece here is that he joined TKO's board. The Rock joined TKO's board to run XFL, which is basically just like he has a board seat.
Incorrect.
Isn't it? Isn't it just XFL? Everything I've seen is just like he's there for XFL.
No, he bought the XFL 2, which they relaunched right before COVID, and that's why it died. They tried to relaunch it. He bought it from McMahon. And then 3 years later is on the board. TKO doesn't own the XFL.
Okay.
The Rock owns XFL.
The Rock owns XFL.
Yeah, independent of that from before.
So he's just a board member for the sake of
they
being a
were
board
just
member.
like, we want you on the board. There's a lot of people. This I find more believable than this being the plan. There's a lot of people who believe The Rock the TKO board is the one that leaked the allegations against Vince. And that this is the way they got Vince out. Yes, it seems like a ridiculous thing to like bury this man, but if he's a pain in the ass behind the scenes too, and you know it's going to come out eventually, leak it. Maybe TKO board finds out Vince isn't making those payments, and then it's TKO leaks it to the press. They have Rock waiting in the wings to join in and be a part of the board. I believe that more than this being their plan. I also think plans changed multiple times very quickly because of CM Punk getting hurt and because of the Vince thing.
Yeah, and it's wrestling. Wrestling is just it's an industry built on change. Like you have to improvise all the time in the industry. I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's enough to convince me that it's not in some way or form planned to even.
Do you concede that it's terrible writing for that period between the press conference and Rumble? That the sequencing makes essentially no sense? Or it's way too 3D chess? Like, if you're going to do what they did, it makes no sense to do it the way they did it. And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense the way that they did it, because if they had it planned out, then you might as well utilize all the airtime you can to build this story as much as possible to have its greatest effect.
I don't want to be the guy who buys.
But then we saw this but the problem with that theory, I think, is this past Monday's episode where it felt like another kind of like floating around doing nothing kind of episode without adding too much to what they're going for.
But this is kind of this is a thing with WWE that they typically do. They rumble, set up a couple Mania matches, and then they tread, you know? EC has a gimmick. Last year it was like Sammy in Montreal trying to win the championship. This year it's Rhea going home to Australia. Elimination Chamber. You get the opportunity to completely eat up your card with Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, which they've done. And so this is kind of the holding pattern they typically enter. I mean, Elimination Chamber is next week. So it is next Saturday. So you have to do some work immediately to get ready for that. So it is a lot of... I thought Raw was... It was fine it was just a punt episode. It didn't progress anything.
Well,
but it also didn't really like walk anything back or have any revelatory things. They got some people a qualifier. You see, sowed some seeds with Drew. You know, typical Raw.
To me, Raw came off compared to Friday's Smackdown, which was fucking rad as shit, like so good.
Yeah.
It's in comparison to that, like even in comparison, like this episode of Raw was still quite good in terms of like the product we were seeing. It was just not as good as what we were getting in the last little bit. But I have a feeling that they're burying Raw kind of on purpose, because Friday night Smackdown, they'll kind of build being the show to watch. That's the show that we'll see The Rock on. So they won't have too much going on in Raw other than just qualifying matches for the time being.
Well, yeah,
because they want The Rock to maximize all the engagement. That's why The Rock pretty much showed up only on Friday Night SmackDown, even before all this went down.
Same with Roman.
Same with Roman.
You can say Roman is a SmackDown drafted athlete, but he's the undisputed champion and technically the champion of both brands. You know? Mm-hmm. He's not anymore. They've worked it out so that he's not defending on Raw ever, but it's a real thing. So, SmackDown's where the audience is. It's Friday night. It's on Fox instead of USA. It's just it's the number one program right now. Maybe that'll change during the Netflix era, but I think
We'll
Raw
see.
will tread. And I mean, they got a lot of talent over there. It's just a 3-hour program. You're going to get an hour of less quality than SmackDown generally.
Yeah, well, you'll get matches is what you'll get. You'll get wrestling and quality wrestling. Friday night, I think they're going to be using that time to build storylines. Yeah.
Do we just want to go into the SmackDown then?
Let's just go back into SmackDown. I think the last thing to talk about is the little promo at the end of the press conference with The Rock and Triple H. And the choices they made in that promo where they had Menace Rock, like just swearing up a storm. Like he did that on stage as well, which was like, that added that realism.
Loved it.
But to have Rock on camera being a complete dick to Triple H.
Oh, yeah.
Was cinema. Like just great work from the entire team there. I saw a lot of people kind of burying or kind of mentioning that The Rock is burying Roman in the sense that Roman doesn't have the same stature as he does with The Rock next to him. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? And you could work that in a way that you could maybe see Roman taking a face turn at some point near the end of all this, or maybe at the end of all this.
I think maybe when he comes back. I think that's the big one. I don't think it makes sense I think it's going to be two heels. They'll carry this momentum of Rock getting booed and they will change it up in some way to have him continue to get booed moving forward when he inevitably faces Roman. And I think that's the match where, like I said, technically Roman needs to lose to have the bloodline stripped away from him, yada yada. But if you have a worked finish where all of the bloodline members turn on Roman and side with Rock, and then Roman wins, then he goes out as a massive face and still gets the bloodline taken away from him, right? And I think then he probably goes away for a few years.
That's if we get Rock and Roman.
We are absolutely getting Rock and Roman. I guarantee you.
We might not.
We are going to get. Not. We're definitely going to. They wouldn't start. Okay, Mr. Not a pivot. It's a work. If it's a work, they are 100% going to fight. If it's a pivot, maybe the timelines change and The Rock can't be gone for that long from movies and television. If it's a pivot, maybe we lose the match because WrestleMania, they pivoted. They had to go with Cody. The response was too much, and The Rock was only cleared to be with them until May. But if it is a work, like you think, we're absolutely getting that match. I still think we're getting that match regardless. That match is happening, and I'm probably at SummerSlam. Or you find a way to punt it another year to next WrestleMania. But if you do that, I feel like Roman has to stick around. I don't think he can just show back up and like he can't just lose to Cody and show back up in 9 months and then lead up to Raw. I guess he could. It sells itself. You could do that.
I just don't know if Roman, like The Rock is a draw, but Roman doesn't seem to me as big of a draw as Cody is.
I think people boo Roman, but they boo him because they are told to boo him. He is still beloved in this company. I think a lot of those people out there...
No, that's not what I'm talking about. No. Whether he's booed or cheered doesn't matter. I mean that I don't think he is as big of a draw.
Yeah, but I'm saying they used to boo him because they hated him. Is. Like they booed him like they booed Nia Jax. Like, we don't want you here.
Right, okay.
We're sick of Vince pushing you over. And it's not those boos anymore, you know? People respect him and love him. I'm just saying Cody has surpassed him as a draw, but Roman's been the draw for a long time. And he is on that Cena level or Rock level, where when he comes back, after I think he's going to leave and start his movie career after all of this Rock stuff and Cody stuff, he will always be a good guy coming back until 20 years passes and he's The Rock and comes back and finally does the heel run. Like, people are going to appreciate everything he's given this company and absolutely adore him when he goes away. So I'm not saying Cody isn't a draw. Cody is the bigger draw right now, but okay. I don't know what my point is anymore. I'm just coming at you for no reason, I think. Again, guys, pain medicine. I've lost my plot again.
And he knew that I was going to do this too. I said, I'm going to say shit that's going to piss you off. Now we don't even know what I actually believe. Like, I could actually believe it's a pivot.
You don't.
But I'm just going to say it's a work.
You don't.
No, I 100% think it's a work. I think this is actually, I sent Tyler like 2 days ago, like a super long text message that was me writing a scene. I wrote a scene for Nathan For You.
Oh man, it was great.
Because there's a possibility here that WWE went to Nathan Fielder to to help save WrestleMania, and this whole thing has been a Nathan For You episode. We're just gonna have to check back the tapes, and we see him in the background, like hiding behind Nick Aldis.
Like, we're still getting the podcasting aspects of this down, and the schedule and everything. So we're not even touching social media yet. I'm still doing stuff behind the scenes on that, but if we had social media, that would have been up the moment you sent it to me. We just don't have it yet. But I would have posted that on Instagram. Absolutely. It was great. It's one of the greatest things you've ever said in your life. I cannot express to you how happy I was reading that. It was maybe the funniest thing you've ever done. And
it's not the funniest.
I had nothing to share. I had no one to share it with. Like, I don't think
I tried reading it to Steve, but reading it doesn't add the effect. You have to imagine the voices.
Yeah, you got to be in the right.
Involved.
You got to be in the right mindset for it. And
yeah.
I also thought about telling Steve, and I'm like, what? How do I explain this? So I just left it. He'll be like, "That's dumb, boop."
Yeah, I mean, that was. I appreciate somebody got it. Maybe one day I'll send this tweet out. I mean, it's not the most appropriate message ever, but
it's not that bad.
Not bad. I say poop.
You say poop a bit. Okay. Smackdown.
So Smackdown comes and we kick off with Triple H addressing the events from the night before, the Rock slap, the Rock freak out, the fucking craziness that happened there. I so want to talk about every single syllable that was mentioned in the press conference, but Tyler's dying. So anyways, Triple H comes out, he addresses it, and right from the get-go of this particular episode, I feel like there's like a tone shift a little bit. And the whole Triple H coming out to the ring, I think he's been coming, like, has he been coming out to Hail to the King or King of Kings?
I think it's a Motorhead song.
Yeah, it's a Motorhead
That's
song.
all I got.
Damn it. So
it is the King of Kings.
There's the game.
Right? The King of
Kings. There's and he came out with the King of Kings theme. And I thought he came out with the game theme song at the press conference, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it was a piece that I took. He comes out. He is... Shut the fuck up.
Sorry, Banemets.
He comes out. He's got Adam Pearce. He's got Nick Aldis with him. And Triple H unabashedly calls out The Rock during this little segment here. He never says The Rock's name, but boy, does he drop all the catchphrases that matter.
Yeah, he targets him. He was really impressed after that pop Cody got. In Charlotte, North Carolina. He's so over in the South because he's Dusty's boy. I mean, he's over everywhere. I'm not shitting on him, but
he's over everywhere.
He is fucking.
He's over here in Calgary, Alberta. I got people at work that we're saying finish the story to each other. They have no idea what that means. But we're saying it.
I love it. I love it so much.
I love this segment, but ultimately, right after this, it's Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. They set up the qualifying matches for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now that Rollins doesn't have a current competitor,
they're gonna. I'm doing the math when I'm watching this, and I'm like, I think Elimination Chamber is on like, in my head. I'm like, I think the Elimination Chamber is like the 23rd. Is it the 23rd? No, it can't be the 23rd. Yeah. It's the fucking 20. They're going to have to slam these qualifying matches in double time. Because I think they had already established that they were having a women's one. I can't remember if that came before. I thought it was on Raw. They said they were going to do one. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah. They never mentioned it during this segment that they were going to do a qualifying match or qualifying rounds for Elimination Chamber. In fact, I think they only announced that, like, they announced a couple of matches at the end of SmackDown saying like,
well, these are the ones because they did 3 qualifying matches, didn't they? In this SmackDown?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it was because Becky Lynch had to pin Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, but yeah, this is just like so they're resetting at the top of the card here. Great promo by Triple H. Cody comes in, he delivers some solid promo, get him over a little bit, be the good guy. Aldis and I just remember.
Well, Cody wasn't in the segment. He just talked about Cody.
No, I mean like that's where they transitioned from. Like it was Triple H there with Pearce and Aldis. Cody comes out. Or no, Cody didn't come out. That's what you're saying. I'm high.
Yeah, he didn't come out. He didn't come out.
It's just I'm just sorry. One of my notes is Cody is a touch over in the South, but that's later that I was like, oh my god, he truly is. But when even the Rock just needed to say his name, and that's why I was like, he's just a touch over. My bad note.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Pierce set up that 12 man, and it's like 12 competitors.
It's stacked. It's stacked. Okay, I got a list here of everybody that was on the card. We've already got through a few of them as of this recording. So on SmackDown, when everybody was still ready to go, we had Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, Ivar, Randy Orton, Dominic Mysterio, The Miz, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Big Bronson Reed. My favorite.
Your favorite. You should just pivot. You should just become like the unabashed biggest Bronson Reed fan.
Yeah, I just start dressing up as Godzilla.
Yeah, put him over.
Bronson Reed!
And not only do they announce this, Drew gets a very interesting response in these next few things. So they say Drew, he gets a pop. Like a little pop.
Gets a pop.
He doesn't really get booed. And then, like, he gets booed a little bit. You're looking like 60-40 on pops. But then they go straight into Drew AJ, which is, what a way to kick off this event after the
so good
after the press conference. Like, just an incredible first match to go to, and you're gonna have a bunch of eyes on you.
Yeah, Drew comes out. He drops he comes out with a mic, which is fun. I'm loving Drew on the mic lately. Like, let that guy just go unhinged nowadays. Like, he's so fucking fun. He says that he's got to save the World Heavyweight Championship, like save its reputation. And then he credits himself for saving WrestleMania because he convinced Cody to finish his story.
Incredible.
Which is great. And then AJ comes out. He does his little phenomenal thing. He looks like he's flanneling around, which is great. And then Tyler, they hit us with the LA Knight. LA Knight comes out. And at first I'm confused. And I'm coming home from a date that night. We Valentine's Day, and Tyler's like throughout the night like texting me, and he's like, Will, these sons of bitches, they have the unmitigated gall to put out a fucking banger. And I'm just like vibrating in my seat. I'm just like, God, I gotta get SmackDown so bad.
This fucking date so bad.
I finally start watching it. When LA Knight comes out and then he sits at the announcer's desk, I'm like, yeah, fuck, let's go.
And it's just a terrific match, like
it's a great match, match all around.
Just good enough to be the opener They do just enough without getting hurt. Like, they're doing everything safe and crisp, and there's like no fuck ups at all. AJ's working the crowd. Drew's working the crowd, telling stories in the ring. And fucking LA Knight's there, and he's got Barrett and Graves. So, like, because they're still kind of both freshly more heel than not, Knight is just carrying the baby angle, the dick baby angle, and they don't know what to do with it because they're like, oh, we're kind of heels, but like, we're kind of betweeners too right now. And he's saying a lot of funny shit. Like, do we put him over as heels? Do we put him over? And just
at a certain point, match. I think Knight even starts calling the match a little bit, like, doing the rest of the team's job. Well, he's like, oh, we got ourselves a pin here. 1, 2, and they're out. The crazy son of a bitch or something like that.
Like Drew during the match, and this is before the water bottle spot, which was the pièce de résistance of this match. I'm out there watching it, and I'm like, if Drew stays on this trajectory, he may win the title from Rollins at WrestleMania. Like, he is really doing a lot the last few weeks, last few months, but specifically the last I guess the last 5 weeks.
Since him and Punk started feuding.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, he was pushing that heel turn. Crowd wasn't really buying it. And then he joined Judgment Day for the Survivor Series. The crowd still didn't really buy it. They still weren't really booing him. And then Punk came out, and then in real life, I guess not really, in backstage, Drew grabbed his shit and left immediately and sold it. And then turned that into a bit of a war of words with Punk, where he's not lying. Almost everything, we're gonna talk about this later for something that Drew did on Monday. But he ain't lying. He's telling the truth, and he's just telling the fans this is how it is. He's doing some heelish shit. But, like, not wild, insane shit. Like, he's not Judgment Day jumping R-Truth. But
No.
I'm just saying, like, that's what I wrote in this match before the water bottle incident, which we have to briefly talk about. I mean, that's the end. Just like Drew, if he continues on this path and on this trajectory, and they book him right, he could absolutely win the title from Rollins. 100%. I thought that was going to go to somebody else. I thought that might go to Orton. But Orton's kind of just dicking around right now. AJ's got Knight.
Kind of hanging it.
So Drew deserves his WrestleMania moment again. You know, and it might be a good way to turn Rollins heel right before he goes out too. If Drew can really if they can play this really right, Drew could be really, really over by the time Mania hits as a tweener leaning to face, with Rollins going crazy from the rejection of the crowd, playing up the angle of Drew getting his chance to win at WrestleMania in front of fans after he did it in the COVID day. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of money to be made at this WrestleMania.
I'm for Drew taking the belt. I'm for Drew. I'm loving everything Drew's been doing. It's fantastic. Let's talk about the water bottle spot.
Truly one of the most, like, that spot must have been done at some point. I have to imagine he's taken that
by somebody
from somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a well-known one or if it's one that like happened once and
I can
people
see The Rock
loved it.
doing this back in the day.
I don't know where he jacked this from, is what I'm saying. But if he did not jack this, and no one has thought to do what he did, I'm just impressed with it no matter what. I'm impressed with it if he bit it. I'm impressed with it if it's an old Carney bit that I'm not aware of, and I'm impressed with it if he's thought about it on the fly. Just absolute perfection, the timing of it, AJ selling it, him saying you want to drink, waiting that beat, the perfect beat, and going, you want to drink? AJ's speed with which that you want to drink was matched with him absolutely yeeting it out of his hand.
And it's stuck. The thing that everybody's noticed too is that water bottle gets stuck in the floor in like a perfect stand-up position as well.
Oh god,
like it doesn't
I didn't notice
bounce
that
or anything. It just goes. It goes straight into the ground. And I noticed that when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, he just smacked it right because it wedges itself between the wall and the mat that they're on. And yeah, everything about it, like you said, that particular beat of LA Knight going, what's the matter? You want a drink or something? And then getting pushed.
Oh. This
like comedy gold.
they just nail the timing, and that's so hard to do because they're clearly not like scripting that. It is improvised, and they just nail it. But yeah, great match, incredible start. You know, Knight with the distraction on AJ leads to the Drew win. So I'm thinking here, Knight's definitely going to lose his qualifier to interference from AJ on Raw because they've announced that match. And there's usually always one weird person in the Elimination Chamber. You watch an old Elimination Chamber, you're like, hey, who's that guy? What's he doing with all these 5 megastars? So I was really thinking Ivar was going to fill that role. I thought it was going to be Ivar or Reed. But we'll talk about that when we get there. You know, quick Sammy promo.
We'll get
He's
there.
got a qualifying championship or qualifying match with Orton later. Pretty deadly promo. You know, Queen Elizabeth in the crowd in the clouds doing the hello, the Jon Stewart hello. Like, I don't like the cinematic matches or the cinematic match. I don't like those either. I don't like the cinematic promos, but this kind of worked because of Pretty Deadly's character. Like, it would be reasonable for them to rent out a drone and a camera crew to cut a promo, so it makes it feel a little bit better, a little more natural.
Sure. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, and to talk to Queen of England, like, that's just
Queen of England in the clouds saying that they're gonna fight Dune and Bate instead of Dunn and Bate.
fantastic.
I like Pretty Deadly a lot, and it sucks that Elton got hurt because they were on a pretty good trajectory at that point, and since they've come back, it's been a lot of mid-card.
They've been kind of just
stuff.
hanging around. Yeah, a lot of mid-card stuff, which kind of sucks.
I mean, they don't need the championship yet to do what they're doing, and you can have fun with them every week, and they don't need to be the big heel tag championships yet. Because, like, who do you cheer for with Pretty Deadly versus Judgment Day, right? So it doesn't really make sense for them to put them over there. So what they're doing is what they're doing.
It's a job. It's a job, and I'm loving it. I think they look fantastic. They got to keep doing what they're doing. And then I think the next match after this one was the Bianca and Michin Elimination Chamber qualifier.
Yeah,
and
you know, like I said with the mid-card title, that's what Michin needs.
Yeah, Michin needs a mid-card title. Like, Michin's great. Bianca's great too,
but she just absolutely stomped Bianca like through a break.
Yeah,
and like stomping her into the break, stomping her out of the break, and then just to get hit with a random KOD and it's over. I don't like that. I think that's really dumb. Especially like when you don't protect. It used to be okay, but now they don't protect wrestling finishers. People are kicking out of them all the time. So, like, a wrestling finisher used to be, this match is over. So it just doesn't have the impact that it did in '95 when you had a match like this.
That is something that definitely needs to be respected now. Is the finisher?
Well, it's just
right.
as much
it does
as
drive
on
me nuts when
the wrestler as it is on the wrestlee. You know, you need to be Roman Reigns or let's say Cody, and you establish that I'll do anything else you want me to do to you, but if I Cody Cutter you, you're going to sleep, so that you can pull it out when someone kicks out of it like in 18 months, and it's like, holy fuck, no one ever kicks out of the Cody Cutter. It makes it for such a massive moment, right? So I would like to see more, like, especially they all have like fucking 3 different finishers anyways now. Like, make a main finisher.
I think you have a main like. There's like I'm just thinking of it like video game terms because I've been playing 2K23 a lot. There's signatures and then there's finishers.
And that's a perfect wordage for it too. But the signature moves in 1982 were like someone would do what's a bog standard move now, like a fisherman's cradle
leg
or
drop.
Something. Not even pre-Hogan, sure. And they might be one of like the only people in the territory who do the leg drop. And if someone else does a leg drop, they're like, hey, that's not my finisher, but like I'm the guy who kind of does the leg drops around here. And then maybe their finisher was like the DDT or whatever.
Right.
And it was kind of similar. But now the signatures of today's era aren't a fisherman's suplex and a sidewalk slam. They're like, you know, Cody bouncing off the ropes perfectly into someone's skull and then cuttering. Right. Like, you know, like it's just all these different variations that are wild. So it just seems like you should just be able. Should be easier to protect one now more than ever.
Yeah. Anyway,
my face hurts.
His face hurts. Belair, Bianca wins the match against Michin. I also think it's kind of funny that like the OC, like even right after an AJ Styles match, the OC has nothing to do with AJ Styles. They're completely like separated from each other. The other two guys, like, are the other two guys wrestling at all, or is it just really just Michin just run the show and she's got two like a company?
Yeah, and
guys.
You're not very familiar with Gallows and Anderson, right? Like, extended outside of what you've seen lately. They are, like, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. But they're
really
in that, like...
And they're just buried.
They're like that in that check cash-in period. They're older. They're apparently great in the locker room. AJ's happy that they're there because they've been friends forever.
That's good.
All
right.
You know how in AEW there's Bullet Club Gold?
Yeah.
Do you know who AEW? Do you know who the Bullet Club is in Japan?
No, I don't know.
Okay, well, I cannot get into that here. But if you're starved for wrestling content at some point this week, go on a Wikipedia hole for Bullet Club, and that'll explain a lot of Gallows and Anderson and AJ and Cody and AEW, and I highly recommend doing that.
All right. So this leads us into the Bayley and Io Sky segment where Bayley takes the mic and addresses the crowd about her split from Damage Control. Obviously, Damage Control comes out. Asuka, Io Sky, and the other one.
Yep.
Yep. Obviously, but not before Katana, or not Katana. Dakota Kai.
Oh, Dakota Kai. Okay.
Yeah, not before Dakota Kai comes out.
Right.
And, like,
Dakota Kai comes
plays. Yeah, and she's like, "What's going on? I've been trying to get a hold of you," and playing completely like I haven't seen anything that's going on, which is kind of ridiculous. But
well, she's like playing.
Playing the middle,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
even like this whole segment is about her playing the middle. I thought she was going to turn on Bayley right there, but I think maybe she takes Bayley's side to even out the numbers a little bit, and then betrays her later, or maybe doesn't betray her. Maybe they put her over with a association with Bayley.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of touch and go right now because at the very end of this segment, once in essence of what happens here, Dakota Kai comes out, then comes out Damage Control. They do their like cyberpunk craziness, and then Dakota Kai grabs a chair, and just before things are starting to heat up against Bayley and Damage Control, Dakota Kai, there's like a bit of a moment where she was about to turn on Bayley, but then goes against Damage Control. And then after that, there's a moment where they're standing next to each other, and the crowd is chanting "Hug it out," and you can see them. They're talking to each other, like, should we do this? Should we hug it out? And Bayley's like, I maybe. Well, so they're probably cooking something else. They should.
She's not allowed to do it anymore.
I mean,
she's gonna eventually bring back that hugger era, but.
Well, we got hug stuff with Owens and Sammy like a year ago when Sammy left left Bloodline.
No. I mean, Bayley's bit used to be like her whole gimmick was I'm a hugger.
Oh,
like
fuck,
hardcore.
I suck at this.
No, it's okay. You just don't. You just look. This is the bit. This is the podcast. You're getting back into it, and I am also getting back into it, and I just have slightly more knowledge than you. But one day we're going to talk about 2012, and you're going to blow my mind.
Okay. And that pretty much wraps up that segment. It looks like Dakota is joining Bayley's side, but kind of like an uneasy, unsure alliance. And then we have Damage Control, who are basically... Have you played Cyberpunk yet?
Nope.
No? Okay. There's a couple characters in Cyberpunk that Damage Control is essentially are.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware of the aesthetic.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And And then we lead into a banger of a match. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne
versus
DX. DIY. Yeah, versus DX.
Winner fights JD at Elimination Chamber. And I called this the last episode. Like, once I saw what they were going to do, I was like, oh, this is going to be a DIY. Like, I think, who won first? Pete, Dunne and Bate won first, right? And then DIY won on SmackDown to qualify. No, I mean in the qualifying. Remember they had 2 matches to qualify for this match? There was 2 like tornado tag teams, and they did the spot with the LWO guy getting launched off the rope.
Right. Yes. It was like a 4-way match.
Yeah, there were 2 of them. There was one on Raw and one on SmackDown, and I think Dunne and Bate won on Raw. And so I went, oh, DIY's winning the SmackDown one, because I knew that these guys would have just like a terrific match. 2 very crisp tag teams that have worked together a long time. Dunne and Bate are big guys who work, or small guys who work big, and DIY are big guys who work small. Well, Ciampa is. Gargano's kind of just another small guy who works big. But they both know how to work different styles, and they put on the second absolute banger of the night.
Oh man, it is an absolute clinic of a match. It never stops. Like once they get going, they're going, and they go hard, and they are flying all over the place.
It is so crisp and makes sense, and not anyone murdering themselves for the pop.
Nope.
It's
clean,
just crisp.
Clean, safe.
They're watching their countouts. They're watching their tags. They're setting up their spots. They're nailing them. People aren't just like, maybe they are, but excellent camera work might have to do something with it. But no one's just like sitting on the outside waiting to get jumped on. You know, people are getting to the top rope. Yep. Then people are getting up, and then they're hitting their spot on cue. No one's just like sitting there. Like, just really, really terrific modern wrestling match. This is what you can do
fast as hell
when you want to be the Hardys and not, be paralyzed at 50
and die.
Yeah.
Great stuff. The only problem that I have here with this is just I'm just not a big fan of the gimmicks between the 2 groups. Really,
I have a little bit more love for Dunne and Bate because of their credentials. And they're due for a real push, not like these half pushes they've got.
Sure.
But, I like the DIY guys. I just think...
Oh, they're so fucking good in the ring. I'm not a fan of the DIY thing.
It's and I get that also has a long run that I do not have any nostalgia for. So, I have nostalgia for Ciampa, but not really DIY. So...
No.
It's... It's maybe I'm not qualified to speak on it, but it's just one of those things where I don't like their ring attire. I don't like how they're separate but equal. They're like their finisher is just them both doing their finishing move at the same time. It's all there's just a touch. There's just something missing from it. But hey, I love watching them wrestle, and if they like won the tag championships, I wouldn't be sad.
Yeah. They put on clinics inside that ring. Like they're so good. I'm with you on the attire, although I don't like Tyler Bates' attire a little bit more. Unfortunately, he looks like he's wearing just straight up tighty whities up in there, buddy.
Yeah, it's
like, can we just switch to all white?
Like, it's a bit for them. So like, I get it.
Is it a bit? I
am
not getting this bit that
it's just like he's just like so vanilla and milquetoast and happy, and he's just gonna go out there in traditional wrestling gear, and he's gonna go put on a wrestling match, and he's gonna beat the shit out of some people, and they're gonna underestimate him, and he's gonna have a good time doing it.
All right.
But Dunne looks great.
Still rough to look at.
Dunne's looking great.
Yeah. Dunne's looking great.
The
hair being shaved off. Didn't he have like short hair when he was in? It was the Brawling Brutes, right?
I think it varied. I think there were times where it was short and times where it was long.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, this match was crazy. And it was Tyler Bate and Dunn who came out with the win here with a shot at the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against JD.
It's going to be interesting. Finn can really work with them. And
I've seen a match with them, and I think it was DIY. And with DIY, I was like, holy shit. Like, this is so fast. That's when I was talking like 2 weeks ago about the differences between the speed of wrestling today and the speed of wrestling of like even like I was going to say 80s, but like even the early to mid 2000s, like the speed we have today, it's like a Cirque du Soleil show. They're just jumping all over the place.
It's truly impressive. Yeah. Again, I just want to speak to the safety in which they work is incredible.
Yeah.
Like how they pick each other up.
Absolutely.
And they know the types of moves to do that look great but are still safe. I don't want to AEW bash here, but like I like AEW. There's a lot of AEW I like. I don't have time to watch AEW, but it is, in my opinion, the inferior product by far from a writing standpoint. And I love watching the matches. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I feel for some of these guys. People going out there
like, why
and
are you doing this to yourself?
Absolute insane ECW level shit and more in certain instances. Especially with like, it doesn't need to be a chair shot or a burning table or something to be dangerous. Just some of the flips they choose to do and the setups and front flip, back flip maneuvers with two people from a standing position. Shit scares me, man. It scares me for those.
Yeah.
Scares me for those human
I've
beings.
seen some horrible injuries happen on the AEW show where legs are literally just turn around in 180 degrees.
Yeah, that
somebody landed wrong.
Yeah,
that was fucked. Great match from DIY, Tyler, and Dune and Bate. We'll see where the championship goes from here. But
seems like they're keeping DIY in the mix. So I think it's going to be a quick win over Dunn Bate there in Australia, and then turn right back to DIY for maybe the next pay-per-view or something.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where this next week, I think this coming Friday night Smackdown, because it was already announced on Monday where this might be going for us. And we'll get there in a sec. I do want to mention the promo with R-Truth and Kevin Owens backstage. That happened right after this match. R-Truth can do no wrong in my world. He is Lord God.
I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it.
Wrestling
hasn't disappointed me whatsoever. A lot of people out here complaining about how it cheapens the Judgment Day and makes them look weak. Good. I think they're headed for their breakup anyways. So this is a good way to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm fine with that.
This is a great way. You beat up a kid that not a kid. He's a 50-year-old man.
He's a 52-year-old man.
He's a 52-year-old man, and we'll talk about his match last night, but he can still go, man, and still do it with humor and heart, and like even this little promo that he had with Kevin Owens, where he kept on calling Kevin Owens the Miz.
Oh, which
is great, by the way. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's done it a couple times now. He did that, and wasn't it KO was like, KO's like, R-Truth says, "Have you seen Nick?" And then KO goes, "Oh, you mean Nick Mysterio?" And R-Truth runs through it like, "What are you talking about? Who's Nick Mysterio?
No.
I have no fucking clue who you're even talking about." No, I'm talking about Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis.
Our general manager, who I accidentally thought was Adam Pearce a week ago, which is another tie into that bit. It just so good. So good.
He's so confused. I saw the WWE released a video of him watching or like just talking about his favorite matches or like craziest moments in WWE. And he's in full character too. And he's talking about the Royal Rumble where he showed up and put a ladder in the middle thinking it was a Money in the Bank match.
Oh man.
And he played it up too during that little video segment thing. He was like, I was really confused. I was backstage. There were some people telling me one thing and another side telling me another thing. At the end of the day, nobody knew what was going on out there. So I just went out there and did my thing. I'm just like, this is so good.
Like you said, he can do no wrong. So quickly, Ms. Paul Ms. Paul happens. I'm just trying to work through things here, but Paul had a great little segment here asking for a match.
Oh, yes.
With Pierce and Aldis being interrupted.
Yes.
Great job by Paul.
In Utah?
And still manages to get people over too. Like he gets a dig on The Rock out of nowhere.
Yep.
And then just moves right
so
along.
Fast.
And like everyone gets a dig at him, but he's still the villain. Do you know about the Rock Paul drama from the past?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I just found out about that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, essentially what it comes down to is like The Rock and Paul knew each other a long, long time ago when Paul was mostly doing YouTube stuff. Then the Japan incident happened, and The Rock, not even The Rock's publicist contacted Paul and his team and said, remove everything that connects Logan Paul with The Rock.
Yeah.
And I don't know the exact story going on there. I think that had to do something with family death on The Rock side. So he took what Paul did in Japan very seriously, and also The Rock is like a brand guy. Like he wants to make sure his brand is exactly what he wants it to be, and having somebody do that and be connected to that in some way, that's not going to happen with The Rock and his team. So they scrubbed him away, which is interesting now because you have Logan Paul on the roster, and not just on the roster, like a rising star on the roster.
And like, you can't threaten this man with a firing. You can't say fall in line, because he'll go, no, bye. He doesn't need this job. This is one of those situations where, like, when you're a kid, you're like, I just don't understand why, like, I don't understand why Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't just, like, buy a hockey team. If I had $1 million, I'd just buy you see what you would see, like, a hockey team sell for $50 million in, like, 1998. And as a child, I'd be like, gee willikers, I sure wish I had enough money where, like, it's just $50 million. That's not too bad. I could amass that if I was, like, I was a millionaire. And that's what he's doing. It's like, he's got so much money, and he's like, you know what? I'd really like to be a WWE wrestler. I don't need to worry about money. I could chase my dreams. And he just fucking goes and does it. Because he's got infinite wealth. Do you think he probably makes more money from the sales of Prime than he does from his WWE contract?
110%.
And it's
like,
just
absolutely.
Free advertising for him. And like, yeah.
It's just free advertising. Well, and it's not advertising. I've been thinking about like Logan and WWE a lot because it's one of my favorite things at the moment. This is his redemption in the public eye.
I mean,
I think he tried it out.
It's a way of doing it.
I think what he did is I think it probably is very close to what you said. He amassed this crazy amount of funds for himself. Like, he doesn't have to work a day in his life ever again if he doesn't want to. But there's this thing that he probably has always wanted to try, which was wrestling, WWE. Probably his people got in touch with the right people. And then I'm sure what they did is they did like some sort of like, I would say like go as far as calling it an audition, putting him in a ring with somebody that could work, but work safe and see what he could do.
Yeah.
And then I bet Triple H saw that and went like, oh shit, we got something here. Kid's athletic. He's a trained actor. He's charismatic as all fuck.
Comes in and just fucking crushes it. All right, you cover.
He comes in, just crushes.
You cover Sammy Orton here. I'm just gonna go upstairs and get some more medication. It's top of the hour, but you start filling in because this one was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the Randy Orton, Sami Zayn. I just want to end on with Logan Paul. Nothing there really from that segment. And then Nick Mysterio with the R-Truth bit. Then we lead into the main event of the night. We have the Elimination Chamber qualifier, Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton. We saw a couple promos throughout the night with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is, I think, he's taking a lot. They're building him up for like in a redemption round, but we gotta be tearing him down a little bit more before we get him to that point. So what kind of happens here? Like the match to me was very straightforward, but there was one spot in particular that caught my eye, and the reason why it did was because how Randy Orton looked after the spot. And of course, I'm talking about the superplex that Randy Orton did on Sami Zayn, where Randy Orton fell on his back. When Randy Orton fell on his back, it was a massive fall. The thing that really, like, he could be selling, like, and he is selling. He's a great seller. The thing that I noticed here is how much he started to sweat after that spot.
Oh, as
soon as he got
not
up
in ring shape. I think it's. No, sorry, I'm actually really close to the mic. He's not in ring shape. That's the thing. You can tell he's still working his way back. He looks fantastic. He did all those roids. He looks great, but he's
on the gas.
Very protective of him right now, building him back up to a full match. You know, this is probably the most intense he's worked since he came back by far, and I feel like they did kind of spread it out a little bit. Sammy, can protect him. Sammy can play the little guy, but still be a guy big enough to hold Randy and protect him.
Yep.
And I think this was his first, and you could see he was pretty fucking gassed.
He was pretty gassed at the end. But it didn't really start clicking in until he did that superplex, and then he was just drenched in sweat. And I don't know if it was from the actual like bump that he took.
Just the general match itself, gassed. That's real. Like Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn will push you. He'll bring some speed, and he did. And
Sami Zayn's got great cardio, great stamina for these things. I mean, he's doing it full time, forever, for like the last 10 years.
Yep,
at the caliber that he's doing it. So yeah, it was fun watching it. I don't have many notes about this match except for that particular spot where Randy Orton fell onto his back. And then at the very end, we had Drew coming out and then Randy Orton and Drew having a bit of a face-off here where they're just like, look, we're doing this dance again.
Yeah, yeah. Aye, oh.
And then you got, I hear voices in my head. And that's where, and then, and that's
Snake's gonna get you.
And that's
the crowd.
Where the episode ends.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go on to Raw. Let's try to push. Oh fuck! It's already so late. All right, let's try to push through some of this Raw quickly.
All right,
I just took a minute. I got about an hour before my brain just explodes from what I just took. So.
Man, for every painkiller that you take, I wish I had gummies and I'd take the same, and then we just see like who fucks up more. He gets.
I am also high. I asked him. Side note, listeners, I'm probably not cutting any of this out. I asked him. I was like, hey, like, you're supposed to avoid suction. I got 4 wisdom teeth out. I don't even know if I said that at the top, or if I just said dental surgery. I got all 4 wisdom teeth out in one crack. And
I think you said tooth surgery.
Yeah, which, I mean, it kind of is. Kind of not. I was pretty high back then. So, yeah, I was just, like, straightforward at the end of it. I'm like, I know that, like, suction is the problem. That's what you read. Like, you're just not supposed to, like, use straws, cough, sneeze. You're not supposed to change the temperature or the pressure in your face for the first couple days so that you don't pop the stitches. And I'm like, can I do weed? Like, can I just do, because I have edible weed in an oil and it comes in a syringe. And he was like, yeah, as long as you're not chewing or smoking or vaping,
go nuts.
Throw it down there. I'm like, yeah, no offense, but you gave me a pretty weak painkiller. So I might need some weed. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it should be fine. See you later. Enjoy.
He's like, get the fuck out of my office.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now we lead to Monday Night Raw last night, and we alluded to our reactions to it. I don't think it sucked in general. There's some great moments throughout this episode, but to me, the Raw will kind of be the filler episode for the events that's going to be happening on SmackDown for the next couple of weeks as we get through Elimination Chamber and lead up to WrestleMania.
It's still Cody's show too, right?
It's still Cody's show. So we had a bit of a Cody segment, but I want to start off with the opening match here, which is our 6-way tag match with New Day and Jey Uso versus Imperium. I loved this match from the get-go. They just started giving her.
This was probably the best match.
I had a great time watching. This was the best match of the night. And once Jay and Gunther started working each other in the ring and doing some moments where like the slap, like where Jay went and slapped Gunther in the face, and they were really like building up like that hatred, that heat towards each other. Great stuff. Like I thought it was very, very well done from both of them. Jay absolutely eviscerating Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser with that, like while staring down Gunther, like doing those super kicks after super kicks. I think Jay's super kicks are getting better, but they're still not my favorite super kick.
I think Jay is weakest. And Jimmy. I think Jay and Jimmy are weak. Their weakest aspect of them as performers is in the ring. I think they're great on the mic.
Yeah.
I think they look great. I think their in-ring work is very mediocre.
Fair enough.
A lot of leg slapping.
I won't go for
a lot of leg slapping.
A lot of leg slapping. Yeah, it's
a lot
true.
of rock movement. You know, rock movement where they flail and then punch and flail and punch.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't look as good with them doing it as it does when the Rock's doing it.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as saying mediocre. At least for this match, at least Jay was getting those super kicks up to the head. I've seen a lot of matches where he just kind of like, it's more in the sternum area. I'm like, is that really a super kick? And I've heard Michael Cole watch that, and he's just like, kick to the
chest,
body,
wherever it lands, right? No, yeah, and like, you know, they're gonna have. I don't know if they announced it right here, but I think there was a segment later on that we'll probably get around to, but we can just pass it when we get to it. Is this is end up going to be Uso and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship next week, which
why
really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I don't.
No,
Elimination Chamber matches are long, and they have a really good crowd, but I think their spot on the Elimination Chamber for that match, you know. I don't really like.
I mean, we already.
It doesn't make any sense for them to fight in the first place, honestly. Just only from the standpoint of like, it doesn't make sense to really have Uso be the one to beat Gunther. It would just like you want, when you're finally going to defeat Gunther, you want to set someone up who's going to be a big star. You know, same with like what they're doing with Rhodes right now, is beating fucking Roman Reigns after this run is insane.
Look, and I think they should listen to me. I know who's the guy. I know who the guy is to take the belt from Gunther. It's a man on the inside. That's right. I'm talking Ludwig Kaiser.
I would love that.
Keep your eyes out on that name.
I would
fucking love him.
But I don't
love
think
Kaiser
that would really
so much.
I think that would more just put Gunther in a weaker position. I don't know. Maybe if Kaiser wins with interference from Vinci, that I like. The turning of the Imperium.
Yeah, let's do that.
But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Like I said, it doesn't make sense for Gunther to lose this historic run on a random Raw a week before a pay-per-view.
No, not on a random Raw.
And it doesn't make sense for Jay to beat him because Jay has better things to do with his time than be the Intercontinental Champion.
Well, we'll have to see how he starts mixing it up with the bloodline situation, because we're going to start seeing here. We're seeing here when we get to the Cody Rollins segment. We're seeing here some ripples of what we can expect maybe at WrestleMania.
They're going to form the Avengers, baby.
Yeah, it's going to rhyme with Schmen Mame. Next match up after Imperium and New Day featuring Jay. We have Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. I tuned out. I started playing Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and I have about 6 pages of notes about how it's all about Tifa. Yeah.
I hate you so much. Fuck that game. The game is the most overrated piece of trash to ever come out for any console. I'm just slapping Final Fantasy in the face. It was big when it came out. It was a big deal. I didn't play it when it came out. My 1996 game, Zelda.
He hates anime. He hates anime.
I mostly hate Final Fantasy.
Women.
I don't hate anime. I hate Final Fantasy. I don't know.
That's fair enough.
I like things to have. I like to have games in a series like that have one consistent narrative.
We're not talking about this. We're moving on. We're moving on to the Andrade video segment.
No, yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what you missed. Andrade promo, pretty standard. Nothing promo. Good to see him back. Hope they have better plans for him. I watched it. This.
Okay, so for this Andrade and video segment, do you think that they shot this in the same place that they shot the Santos Escobar segment like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where he's hanging out with his
It's the
crew?
Exact same thing. I could definitely see Andrade. The only reason I can't see Andrade joining that group, honestly, is because he's bigger deal than Escobar.
I mean, there might be an angle there.
They're even. So if you wanted to put him in there, I think it makes more sense for him to join LWO, honestly. Carlito...
Really?
They're not doing much with Carlito, man.
They aren't.
They're not doing much with
which kind of
Santos either. They're only really doing LWO stuff. But they're not using this as an opportunity to kind of propel Carlito. I think it makes more sense for them to have Andrade, who is a legit fucking star, up against... Andrade Santos would be an absolute fucking banger.
It would be. That'd be cool. I'd watch that.
They fight so similar, and I'm sure they fought a million times. They're both second generation or third generation wrestlers who are like the same age. They must have fought other places, and I'm sorry for my ignorance to the listeners, but that'd be great. So maybe that's the direction they're going. Yeah. We're spending way too much time on the Andrade promo. Lashley Reed, you missed it. It was a qualifying match, lots of meat. They gave Reed a little bit of offense. Doesn't seem like... Let
me... Shut up. I don't care. Moving on.
Wow. I will say that it doesn't seem like they've worked much together, which makes sense based on where they are on the card. It was very standard and a little sloppy. I don't think they've really had much time to work it out. But, I really thought we were going to get a Final Testament interference here and a Reed win. Because Reed the EC is in Australia. It's weird to not have him there. I do think Reed is going to end up in this championship, or this elimination chamber in some way. I don't know if Final Testament beats the shit out and kidnaps Bobby next week, or...
I don't think we'll see anything from Final Testament at all. And we won't see anything like that because I think if we're going to do that, it would make way more sense for Kevin Owens to win his match. Or it would make more sense for Kevin Owens to lose his match against Dom, or have a situation where Judgment Day takes Kevin Owens out and Dom replaces him. It makes more sense to put Dom in Elimination Chamber over Bronson Reed.
It does, but you got to delay Bobby. And I just think it's going that way. I don't think it made sense that's not exactly what happened. So my only real jump is that it's going to happen exactly like that, where Final Testament is going to beat the shit out of Bobby in the back, or something stupid, something Final Testament, Undertaker light bullshit. But anyways, too much time on this. Okay. They did another Sammy promo in the stands, which was weird. I thought it was a good promo, and it was down to earth and seemed to, not completely scripted. And And then
Which
Shinsuke shows up.
leads us to this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Shinsuke shows up on the Titantron and wants to see the real Sammy, who will put himself over no matter what. Calls back to some of the more heelish stuff he's done in the past, Sammy's done. They've been pushing Sammy in a way since he came back at Rumble. He could turn heel at any point now. They're doing that thing where he's coming back, he's hungry, he's ready to be a champion. He's going out there, he's getting the matches, and he's losing them all. And he's putting
it could be
a good show on, too. I could see him cracking and needing that extra heelish to connect with the old heel Sammy to get that extra little push for the win.
Yeah, I wonder what they're planning to like. You could either do the heel turn, or you could do like I was saying earlier when I was talking about him and Randy. They could put him over like super baby face and like this crazy redemption turn, as long as Cody still keeps believing in him, and that's important because Cody is God.
It's true. And speaking of Cody, Woolman incoming. Woolman's out. He did a bit where he talked about the Chicken McNuggets thing on McAfee show, and he directly addressed McAfee. I like that. That was really funny when McAfee was like, up the butt. Puts the nuggets up the butt.
That was another note that I had here. Am I starting to like McAfee? Let's discuss for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I like McAfee as a wrestling broadcaster to some extent. He's very real, and he is the fan, 100%. I don't really like him as a person, and I don't know. I do like him as a person in general. It's just the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers really rubbed me the wrong way, and the way he like talked about getting canceled by both political parties in the States. Like, it's just fucking, honestly, I didn't really mind McAfee. The only really exposure I had to him on a day-to-day basis or on a week-to-week basis was whenever he showed up with wrestling. Even as a sports guy, don't really follow those kind of the bro dude sportscasters. Not really my style of sports that I like of sports analysis.
With me, it was the bro dude.
Yeah, like I just like
persona.
I prefer
that he's cultivated.
I prefer other types of sports coverage. Let's say different
I prefer
flavors.
CM Punk's type of sports coverage, like he did at the fucking press conference, where he was
so good at that.
He was
we didn't even
full,
get to talk about that.
No, he was full on fight promoter.
He was doing great, and some of the callbacks to punching people in the face. And like The Rock in the background, perfectly framed, and he hears
just
him,
like
and he
staring
starts
at him,
screaming at him like across the. Oh man, so and Rock
punch him in the face.
Punk just like completely ignoring him with his back turned to him.
Oh man, if nobody has ever seen any of Punk and Rock stuff from like 2013, go check it out, because Punk can talk circles around The Rock, and The Rock is he's a trained actor, of course, but he lets Punk really kind of like soak up the attention of a room, which is fun to watch when you have The Rock in the ring with you. It's just great stuff. Anyway, I digress. So yes, we have Cody in the ring there doing his segment. He does that callback with the Chicken McNuggets. And then when he says the line like, "You hit me, you put your hands on me, I'm going to hit you back," I thought the delivery of that could have been much better. And I think the line should have been, "I owe you a receipt," because we've been talking about receipts on the show recently. I think it's time to like bring in some of those those terms and phrases that have been backstage talk for so long.
Right. If we're gonna like
receipt.
If we're gonna start doing this like
post kayfabe,
shoot
hybrid,
shoot bullshit, shoot mark bullshit, work shoot. Then yeah, I would like that too. I think you nailed it there. When Rollins interrupts him and he comes out, I don't really get the appeal for him, you know? It's weird.
For Rollins?
Is it just the song? Is it
No,
respect?
it's not the song. I think what the appeal is with Rollins, because I like him, and I've heard you talk with a few of our friends who are watching wrestling, and all of you seem to be on the same page of not really being a big fan of him.
I don't hate him,
and
I just
no, of course.
There's just like he could be used so much better. I think which makes me angrier.
I think I think that's the problem here, is that he has a lot more potential to give here, or he has a lot more potential in his position, and it's just not being utilized. But I don't think that's his fault. I think there's just a lot of big things moving around him, and he's kind of stuck in the situation that he's in right now. If everything was going according to plan, and we had Rollins Punk leading into WrestleMania, I think we would have seen some like amazing stuff from Rollins and Punk, of course. That segment that they did together, where I call it the "I hate you" segment, because his delivery of that was fantastic.
It was great.
That was electricity. That's
what they were going for.
So good,
and everyone was so down for it.
We were so down, and unfortunately the injuries happened. So it is what it is. What's happening here now? I've been calling it the WWC cinematic universe, the We Want Cody cinematic universe. So we have Rollins comes out and addresses the fact that Cody did not choose the World Heavyweight Championship, and like you said earlier, where Cody shits on the World Heavyweight Championship belt and The Rock shits on it, Seth does the same here by just going like, yep. I understand.
And then, like I said, bad writing or a pivot. Like, Rollins in this segment, like, I like this, whatever.
I don't know. Like,
Rollins is just like, I get it, man. You're my bro. We're going to go beat the shit out of these fucking Samoans. I've had enough of them. He completely understands that he didn't choose his belt. He never thought he was going to choose his belt. It was never a real possibility. It was never said on television that he was probably choosing that belt. And they're going to form the Avengers.
They're going to form the Avengers. I don't know if I can call it. I don't want to call it bad writing. I think it's circumstantial writing, because they've now created this beast that they have to tame, and that's the story.
That's bad writing. You're saying they wrote themselves into a corner, and this is bad because they had to write themselves out of the corner. They had to use that language to get out of the thing they put themselves in. Bad writing.
No, something doesn't click with me.
Because it's a pivot.
Bad writing.
It's a pivot.
It's a fucking work.
That's the thing. Like, anyways.
I think Triple H just saw Endgame last year, and he's like,
we could do this.
I have an idea.
We could do this. But yeah, so that's a promo with Rollins and Cody, that's essentially all. It's very good promo, but the end result is they're putting together the Avengers. Rollins is going to be in Cody's corner, and Cody's, you can tell, is already going to start getting that team to protect himself from the bloodline, because that's what Rollins is basically telling him. This entire thing is, you got to get a fucking team together, bro.
Yeah, we call it the Rollins Initiative. What? No, it's cool. I made the name up. We also got, we're pretty sure that Sami Zayn's going to be there. We saw Cody backstage with Sami Zayn, giving him a little, like, I believe in you. So as long as Cody believes in Sami Zayn's going to be a face, at least for a little bit. Promo was great for Rollins and Cody, if not a little bit preachy, a little bit too heavy-handed, but it's wrestling. Like, you can't get too subtle with it, because you got like, everything's gonna be over dramatic. I like the few little nods at making fun of The Rock, and specifically Maui. Like, what can I say except you're welcome? Thought that was a good little touch there. Yeah. Rollins really putting over Rock as this, like, Palpatine endgame creature.
Yep.
Like, just that beast. Like, just going, like, Roman's bad enough, and you couldn't do the job last year. Now it's even it's even bigger than before.
That bitch
How
The
are you
Rock's
going to do
be
this?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they follow this up with like, do you have anything more to say about that? Because I don't. Like, whatever, it's fine. It's another chapter, another quickie little chapter here in this story.
It was just building the
Keep it
story a
moving.
bit. It doesn't really lead to anything.
They touch back on it later with Cody, but yeah. And then they followed up with a Morgan Stark qualifying match. Could not see Morgan losing here. She's so over, but
No.
you know, and Stark's got other things going on in the tag division with Baszler, but she is a little rusty. She is just a touch off. It was a quick match, whatever. It was kind of a squash almost.
It was quick, yeah. It was like 8 minutes.
Maybe they went long on the promo or something, but
well,
yeah.
and I think they did 2 promos in a row. At least that's what my notes are saying here. Maybe the Liv Morgan Stark match was in between, but the Becky segment with Rhea, or not with Rhea eventually, and Nia Jax.
No, that's after the JD backstage R-Truth promo.
That's after the Truth promo. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because it's Morgan Stark, big quick qualifying, and then they go backstage, and it's Priest coming down hard on Truth. And then
heart, man.
Right, leading into the JD Truth match. But when JD is like, when Judgment Day is like, you know, we're gonna, like, it's over, man. We're gonna beat the shit out of you, and then Truth is calling Miz, being like, "Oh God, you were right. They're gonna kill me, dog. They're not jumping me in. You gotta get out here right now."
He's asking Adam Pearce, like, how long does it take for people to get from LA to Galveston?
Hello? So good. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if you know, but there was like an incident with Miz's wife. I can't remember what it was. She's like sick or something, so that's why Miz wasn't there.
She was diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I knew it was something.
I'm like 95% sure that's what I saw online, is that his wife was diagnosed with cancer, which that sucks. That sucks. So be with your family. Wrestling's wrestling. There's always going to be us here.
Right.
But yeah, go deal with that. That's more important.
Yeah, Truth goes out there and kind of runs the standard Cena playbook, which I love when he does that. And
it's
much
great.
Like the match on SmackDown with Michin and not Rhea, God damn it, Bianca.
Bianca, sorry.
Like, it's just Truth pretty much dominates the match and then gets one pretty relaxed finisher and then dies. I don't like that, but you know, we already talked about why I don't like that today. And then DIY comes in for the save while he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny because Truth was kind of like owning the match for a good chunk of it. Like,
he owned like the whole match.
The whole match, yeah. And laying down some fucking hits on JD as well. I thought that was pretty good.
I mean, he's an old man. He's allowed. That's what, if you're still wrestling at 52, you get to fucking hit everyone as hard as you want.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's still doing what he's doing, running around that ring and jumping into like turnbuckles and stuff, like, that fucking guy can go, man. Clearly they're building up towards a Priest Truth face off, and I think we might see that either this coming Friday or next Monday, when Awesome Truth and DIY face off against the Judgment Day in I think it's a 4-man tag team match.
Yep.
So that'll be kind of fun. I can see what happened. I can see Awesome Truth getting into the mix, depending on how over they get in the next little bit. And they're already pretty over, not too much, but relatively so. I can see them being contestants in the tag team title matches, especially against Judgment Day, and if we keep going in this direction.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't really have much to say. No, that's legit.
Yeah. I do want to touch on the Becky Nia Jax segment. I thought this was rough, and not rough from their standpoint, like from the performance. I was just really kind of disappointed with how the crowd was kind of treating them. I'm going to go on a limb and say that I wasn't a big fan of how this crowd treated the product right now, and I'm worried if this might become a trend. And also at the same time,
you always
like
have to remember, sometimes it's just the way they mic the audience. Sometimes it's legitimately just like they mic the audience wrong, and people that were there are like, no, it was over. It's just they just mic the audience wrong and didn't put the right stuff in.
Yeah, it just seemed like the crowd was just distracted, didn't pay attention to the right things. But like you said, they could have mic'd the audience wrong. It felt awkward watching.
Like, well, the thing is, like, it's the Rupp Arena. That is a legendary wrestling venue. You have what is probably a very smart crowd, but was raised on a very different kind of wrestling. So maybe they're just not going for the same things that they consider to be WWE. And I'm not even talking like they're AEW people. I'm just talking like they're like Mid-South wrestling people, you know?
Right.
Like realism, real angles, real people, not a lot of gimmicks. Real people kind of accentuating their own personalities, very down to earth. And you don't know if,
fair enough.
You know, there's still a lot of kids there and everything, no doubt, but it's a university town. But maybe that has something to do with the reception you were feeling. Yeah,
I didn't feel comfortable watching it, and that was the issue that I was having. And Nia Jax getting booed when she came out. I know we're booing because we don't want Nia Jax in the ring. I don't even feel comfortable saying that, because it's just I try to want to keep this as positive as possible. But I thought at a point this felt pretty, and to that I'm gonna say it felt uncomfortable. But then again, she just turned even more heel by the end of it, just pulling out alligator tears and all that shit.
Yeah.
So
no, it was really boring.
It was just kind of rough. And then, Rhea Ripley came out and they kind of bashed a little bit. They kind of teased a weird Becky Rhea respect thing. Maybe not a team up, but at least a mutual understanding.
Yeah.
That Nia sucks.
Yeah, that we all hate her.
Pretty much the end of that. Finally, this leads into
the true store.
The main event.
True store. Before we get to the main event.
Oh, no. Yeah. The main event. No, but there's still LA Knight and Ivar. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, we got a quick backstage Drew promo with him just still continuing to crush it. And when he said he goes out on
a little bit.
Yeah, go hawk the shirts. Good thing. Or two things you should avoid, Cody: being in my prayers and fighting me next weekend, which is hilarious. That is just a classic promo. And then R-Truth DIY/DX promo, just doing the R-Truth thing again. He doesn't know who anyone is. It's repetitive. It's hack, and I'm here for it. I want it every week. I want it every show. Get me more R-Truth not knowing who someone is.
That was so good.
And Gargano and Ciampa kind of look like not exactly, but you can
you can make it work.
You got late stage Triple H, and you got really early stage Shawn Michaels with a shaved head. LA Knight Ivar. I don't have a lot to say about this one. You kind of go in. I went in, like I said, my SmackDown review. I thought we were going in here for an AJ run-in and an Ivar win. Either an AJ distraction or hitting Ivar and DQing LA Knight. Especially after Reed loss, I really thought we were going to do it because, there's always some weird person in fucking Elimination Chamber, like I said. And the only two that I saw really left were Ivar and Reed. And they've really been pushing Ivar. And, putting him as the 6th man first eliminated in Elimination Chamber is a pretty good spot for him right now, honestly.
It'd be good. But there was no, unless AJ interfered, and I thought that it was pretty possible for seeing AJ interfering here and letting Ivar take the win. However, I feel like that was almost too predictable, and that's probably why they didn't do it in the end and just gave LA Knight a clean, solid win.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I thought for sure it was coming. It just, all of it made too much sense.
And we didn't see it.
But, Ivar had a really good showing against Knight.
Both did.
Want to say
I thought
that.
they both
was a good match.
Had a great. The only problem that I had with it was nice and short too. It didn't last too long.
I don't remember them ever being in the ring together either. Like in a tag or something, like slapped together. Certainly not in 6 months. And they had a really good feel for each other out there. They look real crisp.
Yep. Well, and I mean, Ivar knows what he's doing. It's his gimmick that sucks. Love him as a wrestler.
And his voice.
It's the gimmick that sucks.
His voice is shit. And especially for that gimmick. Otis has a similar voice, but Otis is Otis, so it works.
Right.
Ivar would work great as just a monster with a great manager, but they just don't really have great talking managers right now in this. And it's just not something they're prioritizing.
Yeah. I mean, Maxine Dupree is a great manager, but for other reasons.
Exactly.
But now she's in the ring more often now, so she's more.
Yeah,
she's wrestling. So
she's starting to do it, but it's a stacked elimination chamber. Even no matter who wins between Paul and KO and Dom and who's Paul fighting?
Miz.
Thank you. No matter who the two of those end up being, it's a stack.
I'm happy with all of them. All of them, I think, they definitely deserve their spot in Elimination Chamber. If I had to put money on two of them, I would probably say Paul and Dom.
Right.
Dom.
I
would say Dom because of the wild card factor. You either have JD, or you either have Judgment Day or JD himself fucking around and causing some sort of kerfuffle in the match against KO. And we've already set up this expectation that KO is a hothead. He can cheat and he can get caught cheating.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they could play some sort of angle where Dom uses Logan's trick that he used at Royal Rumble on KO and it worked, or something like that. Or you could even throw Logan Paul into the mix and just fuck with Kevin just for the sake of it, and then have that happen. Yeah, I have a pretty good feeling that we're going to see Dom in Elimination Chamber. Especially,
I think so. They said that was the original plan. That was supposed to be the original plan, was to have a spot with him and Lesnar getting his hands on him in the chamber after eliminating him at Rumble. But then Lesnar doesn't exist anymore. So
no, never heard of him.
Which means Undertaker's streak is still intact.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Sami Shinsuke quick, I think. I have a question about Shinsuke Nakamura for you. Are they muting the Nakamura intro chants? Is the crowd finally letting it go and they're making him a heel? Or is it just this crowd?
I had the exact same thought, and I think because I was ready to sing. And crickets. And
we've talked about that on here.
Crowd.
I think a large part of him is he can't get over heel because people just want him to be a face and sing a song and have him go, come on.
I think you can still sing the song if he's a heel.
I do too, but it makes it a lot more fun if he's the Shinsuke we know and love.
I think he's a cool heel. I mean, but I say that
too.
only really knowing him as a heel. Like if he has a face turn soon, that'd be kind of cool. The match to me was like, when I saw it like announced at the beginning of the episode, I thought it was weird. Like I was like, okay, well, Sammy's out of Elimination Chamber, and I don't know what the hell is Shinsuke. He's not even in the running, so I guess he's just mid card or heel, I guess, and they're just putting a match there to have a match. Okay, cool. The only saving grace is that I know that these guys can throw down, so that's cool. Like,
yes,
it makes no sense.
I went but it's DIY done in bait vibes. Like I'm expecting a good match here. Like I'm going in. These people can work. They can work each other's style. This should be good. Yeah, and
it was. It was. There were some cool. I mean, I can't remember any specific spots in particular. Maybe
the only thing I didn't really like about this match, there was some sloppy thing. There was Sammy hit the ground hard right before the break. He did a front flip over the top rope, and Shinsuke just missed him, or Sammy missed the landing spot, and Shinsuke didn't get it. Like didn't break his fall at all, and Sammy just went fucking full on back to the mat. It looked very painful.
Rough.
The only thing I wanted to say about this match that really disappointed me was like, I want Drew to stick down the middle. I don't want him to do this overt heel shit. I get it makes a little bit more sense because they had that backstage interaction right before the match where Sammy said, "Get out of my way." But Drew, it's a little too heel shitty for me here. I want him telling the truth, and I want him kicking the shit out of people. I don't want him.
Oh, really?
I don't want him interfering. I don't want him ruining matches for people that I just think you should play it a little bit more straight. But that's me thinking that there is a path here for Drew to fucking explode as a babyface very quickly.
Really, I see a path for Drew to explode as a heel. Like,
I mean, either way, I want it to be a tweener. I want him to do what he's doing now is kind of edging a little bit more towards traditional straight up heel. But this is a man I want to cheer for.
I mean, see, that's the thing is like, this is because I'm a newer fan, so I don't understand the rules so much. But is it such a bad thing that if you have a heel that's over as a heel, is it bad to cheer for them? Because Rhea has this issue. Like Rhea is a
that
heel.
is more of a type of fan question. It's more about the type of fan you consider yourself and the type of fan that is the most prevalent in the WWE fandom. Are you going to be the guy who someone gets so over as heel? Like, if someone's just going in there and interfering with everyone's match and taking chairs to knees and being a prick, you're not going to cheer that heel. You need it. If you're going to want a cheerable heel, you need to do someone who's telling the truth about things and not being too prickish about, like, not doing things that really get the heat in the sense of being a bad person.
Okay.
You know? Like, you can cheer a heel for sure, and that's what I'm talking about. That's where the most massive babies come from, is that Austin was a heel, and he wasn't a heel. He was mostly just telling the truth and kicking the living fuck out of Bret Hart and putting on banger matches. And some people started realizing, like, we're not writing him any differently, but the crowd loves him. They love this straight shooting, no bullshit prick who doesn't give a fuck who he betrays or steps over for the championship. And that's when Austin started going to the moon, you know? Right. And then the Vince stuff, of course, catapulted him beyond the solar system. But that's when Austin really started going, was when they didn't even have to make him a face, really. They just kept doing what they were doing with him, and the crowd just fucking got more and more behind him. Sorry, that's what I mean about Drew. That's why I don't. I just want Drew to not betray the heel fans' trust. The people who love him right now for what he's saying, for the CM Punk shirts, for DM Hunk, for the fucking
give
fire
me
Twitter.
DM Hunk. We didn't even talk about DM Hunk.
We didn't talk about DM Hunk. I want all of that. I want prick Drew. I don't want dick Drew.
Gotcha. All right, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. So
what he should have done
Drew.
is he should have gotten the ring, and after he interfered and cost Sammy the match, he also should have just beat the living fuck out of Shinsuke in the middle of the ring. Because then you lessen the attack on being a direct attack on Sammy, and it's more just like, no, Drew's here to kick everyone's ass. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and you could still even bring Cody out. Like all you have to do is just like you can have Drew clothesline Shinsuke, maybe even like throw him out of the ring, and then have him turn back on Sammy.
Yes.
And then bring Cody out.
Yes. And then, yes, exactly. Have him go out there, interfere, beat the shit out of Shinsuke, kick him out of the ring. Sammy gets back up. He starts demolishing Sammy again. Shinsuke rolls in to go fight. Whatever. Anyways, it's not important. It's not what had happened, but there was a path there for it.
There's a path there for it.
Sammy's got here's the thing that made me feel like a real noob, because I know you feel that way sometimes talking about this stuff, but
I've been doing podcasts on every fucking subject and fandom in the world, and I feel like I'm a goddamn idiot about all of it.
Fair enough. That might just be a you thing. You gotta get some therapy. But Cody comes in and he's got a fucking dog shirt. He's got a Cody Rhodes American Barkmare dog shirt. And I got so excited that his shirt had his dog on it. And then I went on Google, and this is like the 10th time he's made a shirt in various promotions where his dog is on it. And I was like, oh, I'm really out of the loop on this one. I had no fucking clue. I was so hyped for dog shirt. And I was like, oh, this is just like the 10th time he's done it. This means nothing. Well, damn. Okay, cool shirt, though. And that's Raw.
Do you when do you think we're gonna see Cody Rhodes' dog play a role in the story here? Like, do you think he's gonna attack like Solo Sikoa, like bite his thumb off?
Love it. I would absolutely love it. I would love if they got the dog. Yeah, the vicious thumb injury to Solo by the dog.
Yeah. And then what if he turns face, like immediately, and not just like any face, like he's like. Make him as clueless as R-Truth.
Don't call R-Truth a dog.
No. Make Solo Sikoa.
Oh, Solo. Oh, sorry. I missed that.
Solo.
I was just setting up for the game.
Make Solo as clueless as R-Truth without the power of the thumb. Or at least like I said, like that thumb is talking to him. He has to lose a bit of his personality or even gain back too much personality as soon as he loses the thumb. The thumb has got to go. The thumb is the key here.
It's all right. All right, so that's Raw.
All right.
We've done it again, but I got a game prepared. This one's a quick one, though. This one isn't like the last couple. This one's a lot quicker. I have an idea of what to expect, but I also have no idea what to expect. You have no idea. So first thing is, I got out of right now it is about 11 o'clock p.m. recording time. I got out of the I got out of the dentist at 4:30, and I was home by 5. Man, I got out of the dentist like 4:45, and I was home by like 5:15. And I took my pills.
Was it 5:15, 5, or was it 5?
It doesn't matter. Was
it 4:30? Did you? What time did you text me?
Look. It was like 5-6 hours ago.
It was like 4. No, it was like 4, right? 4:30.
No, what? Dear God, Will. Okay, so I got home, I got my pills, I came downstairs, and I went immediately. I had an idea, and I'm like, I am going to record the song in advance this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it on my phone and then cut out my audio and input the real audio. But I'm going to play it from my phone for you, Will. So here we go. This segment is called not Wisdom Teeth, but Kingdom Teeth.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul. Every fight I'm out of control. Do it all to get my feet. Quiet here, about to blow. Wait for me to start the show. Out the curtain I go home. Whoa! My father said, when I was younger, I can't prepare me. Yeah. Look out of the way, I give it all away. Cause hurt my freedom. Cause I hate a game of man made of pain. I built my kingdom. Now you bow to me. Took my dream, but not my name. So follow me until the end. I am my kingdom. So no real parody this week. Just me immediately, well, I was as frozen as possible coming down and recording the first little bit of Kingdom there.
You gotta be careful. We might get DMCA'd or whatever that is.
I think me being frozen will qualify as parody. I think it's enough.
Maybe.
You know, and I didn't get any of the lyrics right.
We had I mean, that's a huge part. We just recently had a chapter by chapter episode get pulled down because we quoted David Bowie lyrics in the episode.
Wow, that's really lame.
That's really lame. But we have no idea how to put it back up because David Bowie lyrics is like it's like weaved into the entire theme of the series.
That's one of those ones where you just put up, sorry guys, this is on Patreon.
Anyway,
that's what you do. You go, I'm sorry, we lost this one. If you want to listen to it, you go to Patreon. We lost it because of David, or get mad at David Bowie's estate. Everyone make a letter writing campaign. Yeah, so, we'll Kingdom right. Teeth. It's a dental themed game. So, yeah. I asked Will earlier today if he knew who Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS was, and some of our listeners will know exactly who I'm talking about. And some of you won't. So it's a fun little game that you can play at home right now. Just don't Google him. Don't Google him at all. Don't look for a picture. Don't do anything. Just don't Google him.
Dr. Yankem DDS? Is that what you said?
Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS. And what I'm going to do,
Will, makes that's a lot funnier when it's said out loud. Because when I saw the name typed, I was like, okay, he must be from New York or something. I don't know.
I was going to send you a picture of it, Will, but I think it would give it away. But, you know, honestly, it would be close. But it would probably give it away at the end. So, Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS was a gimmick from a very well-known wrestler that was his gimmick before he became famous for his best-known gimmick. Okay? See what I'm saying? So, this is a big wrestler whose old gimmick used to be Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS. I'm going to give you hints. I'm going to give you 10 hints, getting more obvious every time. You get one wrestler guess per hint, and I want to see if you can tell me who Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS is. Clue number 1, debuted as Angus King in 1992 on the indie circuit. Angus King in 1992.
Part of me wants to say that I recognize the name Angus King, but then I realized I'm probably just thinking of Lexus King in NXT.
Almost certainly.
No idea.
No idea? No, just want to throw any guess out there. 92. Debuted in 92.
Debuted in 92.
On the indies.
Angus King in the indies. X-Pac?
Not X-Pac. Okay. Number 2. Hint is born in Spain. He was born in Spain.
Ooh. Spain.
Now it was really hard ordering these because this one would give it away for me immediately because it's just one of those weird facts I always know about this guy. Born in Spain.
Yeah, I feel, no, I don't know. I'll just throw, he's born in Spain, debuted in 92. Fuck, I don't know. Being born in Spain you could be anybody.
Okay,
Could be anybody.
We'll punt on that one.
Yeah,
Number
just keep
3.
going.
Isaac Yankem debuted as Jerry Lawler's personal dentist on February 20th, 1995. And who Jerry had hired to defeat his nemesis, Bret Hart. So he makes his WWE debut in February 20, 1995. Only 3 years of training under his belt, and he's already in WWE. And he was hired by Jerry Lawler to fight Bret Hart.
So you're telling me that Jerry's dentist is this Brian Cranston? Jerry's fight Bret Hart.
Fight Bret Hart, 95. February 95.
February 95. Okay, I'm trying to think of like who Bret Hart was kind of up against at that time, and I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels is the name.
He's still at Isaac Yankem here, so he's someone who turns into a different wrestler, but he is Isaac Yankem. So you're looking for someone on that level of quality that would be fighting Bret Hart at that point. But I'll go on to number 4.
Right.
In April 1997, so this is about 14 months after he fights Bret Hart, and he's introduced as Isaac Yankem. In April 1997, after a very anticipated build-up, they introduce him by the character he is known best as.
In February of 97?
So that's April 97.
April 97.
This is only 12 months
WrestleMania.
after, not 12 months, but 14 months or something after he debuted.
So, would it be at WrestleMania? Probably not. Probably just a regular show.
I cannot confirm or deny that it was at WrestleMania, but I don't believe it was. I don't believe he debuted there. I think it was a thing that happened right after WrestleMania. Because they do that sometimes, they launch new things like right after Mania.
Yeah. I'm at a loss, man. I have no idea.
I'm not sure if this would give it away or not, because I don't know about your knowledge. So this might just be a quick no. Next one.
Very limited.
He appeared in the movie MacGruber. Are you watched MacGruber?
Oh my God. Okay, so that narrows it down to 5 different wrestlers.
Wow. Okay, Will has watched MacGruber. Everybody asked and answered. I should have picked a different thing for number 5. Did not know Will was immediately like 5 wrestlers.
I love MacGruber.
I do too. I just didn't know.
That movie's so underrated.
Did you watch the sequel show?
No, I did not.
Oh,
no.
Will, if you love MacGruber,
I totally forgot that.
You gotta watch the
Is it
sequel
good?
show. It's so good. It's everything you want it to be.
Fuck yes, because that first one is amazing.
I'm so excited for you that you haven't watched it, that you get to enjoy MacGruber, the television show. Oh man,
what's
it's
it
so
on?
good.
Do you know? Well, I'll find.
Whatever. Anyways, gotta get on that. So,
okay, so that narrows it down. So that narrows it down. We've got Chris Jericho, Mark Henry. I think Big Show was in that movie. Great Khali. Who else was in that fucking van?
Don't look it up.
Was it Kane? Yeah, it was Kane. It was Kane that was in there. So, not.
Would you like any of the other clues again? Would you like a rundown of the clues?
Give me a sec. I'm working down the usual suspects. I'm pretty sure I got everybody in that van that blew up in that movie. Sorry, spoilers to those who haven't seen MacGruber, but you probably should have fucking watched MacGruber. The two that I'm iffy on are Kane and Chris Jericho. But Born in Spain is a throws me for a loop, because Kane is now a politician, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily, you have to be born in the United States to be a congressman. He just can't run for president. The needle is going towards Kane. I can see him in a dentist outfit, and 97 April makes sense for the Kane character to come out because I think it was only a year or two, like maybe a year later that, or maybe even like pretty much around the same time, they were building up the Kane or the Undertaker Mankind storyline that led into like, I know your brother, like you had your past, like you killed your brother. That's the whole storyline. The, Undertaker's unknown brother. I can feel you just like getting like filled with rage, or just like you want to scream it from your
No, I'm letting you talk through it. I'm trying not to influence you in any way. You may, like, honestly, you may not even have the right wrestlers in the van.
God damn it.
So,
well, I know Kane's in it, and I know Kane was in the movie because I just saw a clip recently, like 2 weeks ago, that had Kane, and I'm pretty sure Mark Henry, and I'm pretty sure Chris Jericho.
Okay, I'm going to give you
Rick
the next
Khali's
clue.
a toss-up.
This character shares a nickname with a baseball team.
Fuck! What the fuck? For those who don't know me, I don't know sports. Two. Shares a nickname with a baseball team.
Number 7. He is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Oh, God. Everybody in that fucking MacGruber movie is a Hall of Famer now.
You've already said number 8. So I'm going to give you number 9 and then give you 8 blast or something. Number 9. Well, in September 1996, he was introduced as Diesel by Jim Ross.
Diesel?
In 1996 of September,
he
was introduced as Diesel.
Diesel was Nash. Wasn't it Nash?
Diesel was portrayed by Kevin Nash, but not in September 1996.
God damn it!
Number 10. He holds the record for most Royal Rumble eliminations of all time with 46 in 20 different Royal Rumbles, which is also a record.
I'm going with Kane.
That is correct, Will. It is Kane.
Yes!
You pretty much had it at 5. 5 was a real risky clue for me. Because you could have been like, who the fuck? What the? MacGruber? There were wrestlers in MacGruber? I never saw MacGruber. Or it could be that where you're like, okay, so there's 5 wrestlers. I know exactly who 4 of them are. I'm not going to say Kane yet. Though.
I got to look at.
Then
right.
you
I
said
got to look
Kane.
it up real quick. I knew I saw Kane in there. Really, Kane was born in Spain, eh?
That's something I've known for. Like, when did he debut as Kane? 97? I've known that since, like, January 98. I have known that forever for some reason.
Okay, so I actually got more than I thought I got right here. So I got Chris Jericho right.
Jericho,
I don't think I said Big Show.
Kane. You said Big Show?
I said Big Show. I did say Mark Henry, and I did say Great Khali. But I didn't say MVP, and I didn't say Derek. Derek Mears is just an actor. Sorry. So I missed Mears MVP.
Is, Jason from he's the newest Jason.
So
I only know that because he's friends of someone who does a podcast. You did good there. MacGruber really crushed it. Also, my number 8 clue was he now serves as a mayor of a town in Tennessee, which would have probably given it away.
Yeah.
And then if somehow you had made it all the way through, my question, hint 11 was, he is the Undertaker's brother. For God's sakes, Will. He is the Undertaker's brother. You've got this, man. You've got this.
We might have gone that far. That's
honestly,
hilarious.
Without MacGruber.
At 5?
And you got it through MacGruber. Oh, no. The mayor of town in Tennessee you probably would have got, right? That probably would have given it away.
Yeah, the mayor would have given it away. Spain threw me for a loop. MacGruber definitely helped.
And 97 also kind of sealed it for you too. You did the math on debuting in April 97 for the debut, and that he would be around. That's when Kane showed
up for the storyline
for Undertaker. Yeah.
Yeah, for the storyline.
But I encourage you to look up pictures of Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS now because it's hilarious.
I have a feeling that I have a feeling that this is like a buried memory in me. Dr.
Somewhere.
Isaac Yankem. I'm pulling it up. Images.
It was just a beautiful.
Oh my
beautiful
God!
character.
Yes, I definitely have seen this before. Maybe not when I was a kid, but certainly on Reddit somewhere.
It's just wild because he's Dr. Isaac Yankem for like a year. No, goes nowhere. He's a dentist. He's fucking dentist gimmick. And then he goes away and they bring him back as the fake Diesel. And the crowd rejects it wholeheartedly. And the one guy, the Razor Ramon, the guy who played Razor Ramon, he was like a Stampede Calgary guy. I think he's from Calgary. Rick Bogner. And that just murdered his career. But then Diesel, Kane goes back. All of a sudden they come to him with the idea of being Undertaker's brother. And they just fucking nail the intro. And then he's just there forever.
Yep.
Just incredible career. Wild career. Can you,
fun
do you
fact
have
for you?
Yeah.
Fun fact for you. What is the name of Dr. Isaac Yankem's theme song?
Oh, God, I have no idea. What is it?
Root Canal.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's the quality of work
I've heard Corny talk about stuff like that. But, all right. That's it. That's it for the episode. We did it again. I'm fucked. I'm in so much pain right now. I need way more cannabis and way more pain pills. And I have to eat like a soup or something. Something with no crunch, no munch. I got to do it. So, you know my plugs. Who Killed the Radio Stars? Still no new episode, but one should be coming out in the very near future. Will, what do you got?
I got everything going on. Go look me up on the internet. There's content. If you've been to a dentist recently, you probably read something of mine. If you've been to an eye doctor recently, you probably read something of mine. If you've been reading the book, you probably heard my voice doing it. So yeah, there's a bunch of shit. Anyway, Tyler, get us out of here.
Yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to go sleep forever. Email 14123% @gmail. Send me your dental stories. Send me your favorite Isaac Yankem memory. That's it for this week. Guys, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.